Hey guys, my name is Rob Noire, coming at you with another top 10 list. Recently, I've been playing a lot of indie games. They've entered my regular rotation and I've been really enjoying them. And I feel like in the last few years, we've reached a point where indie games can be just as good, if not better, than some of the AAA games out there. So I thought it could be really fun to do a list here on my favorite indie games that I've ever played to date. If there's a great indie game that I don't mention in this list that you think deserves to be on here, well, it's likely I haven't tried it. But I'd love to hear all about it down in the comments below, and maybe it'll make a future list. Number 10, Cuphead. Now this is an amazing game with an art style that's literally unmatched. Although it is worth noting that if you're not a huge fan of rubber hose animation, it might creep you the hell out. The overall aesthetic, look, and even sound of this game really adds a new level to it. The amount of love, care, and time that went into crafting the visual aesthetic of this game is truly unmatched. As a side-scrolling run and gun with also some levels that mix up the formula a little bit, it's honestly a game that is tough as nails. Luckily, it's also one where you can bring along a friend to help out with the chaos. If you're not into very difficult games, this one might not be your jam because it's definitely going to kick your butt. But if you like a little bit of a challenge, this one is really cool. And the game itself is not actually that long. Most of the length comes from the difficulty where, you die and you have to redo the stage over and over and over until you get good. Damn though, this is a good game and it's unlike anything else I have ever played to date. Number 9, Subnautica. Do you have a fear of the deep ocean? Do you want to? Enter Subnautica. So changing genres completely here, this would be the first crafting survival game on this list, and you're going to see a bunch of these crop up because it's a genre that I really enjoy. Now Subnautica takes place on an alien world where you have crash landed and you're tasked with not only surviving, but finding a way off the planet back home. And this is all while dealing with a bunch of monsters that are trying to kill you, a subplot about other humans who were living on this planet before you, crazy alien machines that will shoot down anything that comes down to try and rescue you. Funny thing is that this game was designed just to be a crafting survival game, but it actually doubles as an unintentional horror game. This game literally gave me a fear of the depths, a fear of the deep ocean. I did not have that before playing this game. The experience of playing this had that big of an effect on me, and overall the game is super fun. It's got a really in-depth plot, really good crafting mechanics, lots of stuff you can explore, lots of stuff you can build, and it's just a great, really tight-knit experience. Number 8. Slime Rancher. Farming games have really gotten huge over the last few years. Now these slice of life simulators can range from something a little bit more old school like Harvest Moon, or even some more modern takes like Farming Simulator. Even Animal Crossing gets in on the action. So how do you innovate on a genre that's been pretty much done to death? Have your game take place on an alien world, alien resources, and alien creatures known as slimes. They're adorable, by the way. Add in a ton of science and different gadgets and automation things that you can make, and boom, you got yourself a game. True joy of Slime Rancher is its extremely satisfying gameplay loop. And of course, this harkens back to a lot of other farming games that you probably know, but it has just enough of a twist to keep it feeling new and fresh. So like any farming sim, you're raising your creatures, you're trying to make a profit off of them, you're getting new things, new gadgets to add to your farm, and just as time goes on, you just grow and grow. Also, as a side note, the devs keep adding content for free to this game, and that's something that you just don't really get with a AAA game. Number 7, Raft. Now there have definitely been a lot of crafting survival games coming out over the last few years. I mean, the moment Minecraft got big, it felt like everybody was trying to do that genre, and to be honest, I am here for it. Raft is one of the most unique and addictive games of that genre that I've ever come across. Now the big hook for this game, haha, hook, get it, is that it takes place almost entirely on sea. You are on a constantly moving ship. Now you need to gather the resources around you to survive. And also during this entire journey, try not to get killed by the shark that constantly follows you everywhere. And unlike a lot of games of this genre, it actually has a fully fleshed out story, and it's super intriguing. And this is another one where if you want, you can grab a bunch of friends, have a crew, and play it multiplayer. This game is seriously good. Right now, I'm waiting on the edge of my seat for the next chapter to come out. Number 6. Overcooked II. Now, what's life without a little bit of culinary chaos? Now, cooking games are nothing new. They've been around for quite a long time. Now, the Overcooked series took that genre, boiled it down to just what worked, added a dollop of crazy level design, a dash of a story, and then flooded it with amazing multiplayer. Overcooked 2 is a cooking game unlike any other, but you're actually competing against the levels themselves. I mean, look at this. While this game is totally fun to play single player, of course it truly shines in the multiplayer. The chaos really just expands and expands exponentially the more people you add into your kitchen. This game is just so much fun, and stressful, and fun, and stressful, and fun. One of those games that keeps us coming back for more and more helpings. Number 5. Shovel Knight. What would happen if you take an old school side-scrolling platformer from the NES era and make it today? That's what indie developer Yacht Club Games attempted to find out. The gameplay here is extremely solid with incredibly tight controls, multiple abilities for your character, and even a level up system. The bosses are all extremely memorable, and the music, perfection. They've also released several expansions to the base game, letting you play as several of the bosses in their own campaign. Spectre Knight is my personal favorite. The main campaign of this one can also be played in co-op, resulting in a lot of hilarity. Not only is this game great for any old school gamer who misses the old days of the NES and SNES, it also stands on its own extremely fun modern game. And just like an old school game, it's also still challenging. Number 4. Celeste. The goal in Celeste is really simple. Climb to the top of the mountain. You do so by navigating treacherous areas. The fine-tuned controls and the great level design really help this game feel just amazing and fluid. But even all that being said, it's not the gameplay that makes Celeste so amazing. It's the story and the way that it's told. Climbing the mountain is a metaphor for life. Pushing through, despite all the odds, against all the hardship, is the journey. People that you meet along the way, and learning to accept yourself, that's the only way to get there. I won't get too in-depth into the story here because I don't want to spoil it if you've never played it, but honestly, this game is great. Haven't tried it, you're missing out. Number 3. Stardew Valley. Now, I want to say that the next 3 games on this list are all amazing, and I really agonized over which should get which spot, and it was really tough to decide. Now, this is another farming simulator, but in more of a traditional vein. Now, it's got really great looking graphics, similar again to a Super Nintendo game, and essentially, you inherit a farm and then set out on a journey to build the best, most productive farm that you can. All the while, making friends with the people who live in your town, who you can also date, by the way. You're helping to restore the town to its former glory, going mining in the deep, fighting zombies, participating in festivals, finding artifacts. If this all sounds a little bit disjointed, you're right. There's so many different aspects to this game, but somehow it just all ties together. Even better, you can also play this game multiplayer with a friend. One person made all this, that it's such a polished experience, and there's still new updates coming out all the time. If you haven't tried it and it looks at all fun to you, you owe it to yourself to give it a chance. Number 2. Undertale. Now, I debated putting this game even higher up on the list, but again, when we're in the top couple of spots here, it's pretty much just splitting hairs. Now, you knew this game had to be on here. It's Undertale. It's the indie game on the map in a huge way. This game literally defies all expectations, and even me, the first time that I played this game, I did not think it was going to be that great. Now, at its core, this is an RPG, but it can be played in multiple ways. Now, you can play as a good guy, a pacifist, and try not to kill any monsters along the way. You can play it like a normal RPG, you know, doing some fights, avoiding others, or you can be an evil murderer and try and kill everything that exists on the planet. Burn and hate the countryside. Now, where this game really shines is in the world building and the characters themselves. All of the characters, the random guy in the bar, to the enemy you fight, to the boss, they all have such vibrant personalities. The world and the characters feel so alive. Now add on to that an incredibly deep and well paced out story, extremely fun gameplay mechanics that turn basic RPG norms on their heads, also a game where you have to complete it multiple times to really appreciate everything that's there. It's so much fun that you're going to want to do that. There's a reason why this game got so much coverage back in the day. Now, before we get to my number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Untitled Goose Game, Among Us, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Hollow Knight, Hades. Number 1, Journey. Now, this is one of those games that playing it literally takes me back to a time where I didn't understand that video games could be art. Because at the time, when I looked around, all I really saw were just mindless copycat wartime first-person shooters. And really, as a result of that, I had pretty much begun to lose all of my interest in gaming. This was the game that showed me that video games could be more than that, and made me fall in love with the gaming genre as a whole all over again. Now, the concept of this game is very simple. Wake up in a desert, and you see a mountain with a light in the distance up ahead. Without telling you, you understand that that's where you need to go. Along the way, if you're lucky, you'll meet other players. Your only way of communicating with them is with musical notes, and you just go. Much like Celeste, you're pretty much just trying to climb this mountain. Now, Journey shines not only in its art design, but its very simple and easy to understand gameplay. Level design does a really good job of taking advantage of all of these simple mechanics that they teach you throughout the process. And more than anything, the emotional journey that this game takes you on is unmatched. The story of this game, which is never spoken spoken out loud and only conveyed through very brief cutscenes is beautiful. It's the idea of life, death, and rebirth. Now, there's a lot of games that could have taken this #1 spot, but this game affected me so much for the better that I had to give it up to this one. And that's my list. Have any other games that you think should be on here? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.